G'day everyone, Rep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Sunday, the 15th of March 2022, and the time here is 08:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm back. Right, let's get into things, folks. I'll explain everything. Hang on. Okay, here is my sponsor, Totally Rawsome, who make, amongst other things, golden activated turmeric paste, which was the original product that I started taking for my knees and joint pain. It works, 100% works. Don't care what anyone says. Anyone I've recommended it to tells me it works. It is a fantastic product, folks. If you haven't tried it, please do so. They've also got the chai turmeric, however you want to say it, happy healing silica, Kokura bombs. Now, here's the good stuff. So some of the good, they're all good stuff, but if your dogs love pig's ears and dog treats, give them this stuff, folks. They absolutely go crazy for it, and I'm being serious. Now, I spoke to Jen the other day, and they have a whole new range of products: toothpaste, lip balm, cleaning products, etc., etc. But what I want to tell you is they also now make, and this stuff is the duck's nuts, folks. Let me tell you, this is bloody beautiful. It's salad topping, turmeric and olive oil salad topping, and you can see from the sediment that it's actually, there's no preservatives, no additives, nothing. And we tried it the other day, and I'd literally have this on my breakfast cereal, folks. It's that good. Seriously, it is bloody fantastic. You have to keep it in the fridge though. That's the only problem, because there's no preservatives, no additives, so it's a natural product. Honestly, get it. It is, honestly, it's the best one I've ever tried, and I'm not saying that because these guys sponsor me, but I'm not shitting you. It's really, really good. Right, how do you get hold of them? Contact details. On the left, that's where they are, Burleigh Markets, every Saturday and every Sunday. Hotter artisan markets, artisan, sorry. Contact on mobile, info at 0433 165 848 or info at totallyrawsome.com.au. As I said, get some or you are mad. Okay, sorry about the hat. Hair's all over the place, so I couldn't be bothered combing it and stuff. And I'm showing my support for the Dolphins, Redcliffe Dolphins, who are my team. Okay, where have I been? What have I been doing? Now, this is interesting. So, a couple of months ago, I dropped my computer. Yeah, I know. And the screen was going crazy, etc., 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 and literally wasn't working properly, etc., etc. Now, I thought that that's what was wrong with my computer. Then, look, to be honest, it's not the first time I dropped my laptop. I do it all the bloody time. I'm useless. Then the other day, my computer, while I was literally using it, took over itself, or somebody took over it, and it downloaded this massive upgrade. And hey presto, nothing wrong with my computer. Call me a conspiracy nut, but that's honestly the truth. That's exactly what happened. I have no idea why. It was like for months, like just going like that. So I have no idea why it was doing it, folks. Upgraded it. Even my wife said, "What the hell did you do to your computer?" I said, "Nothing. Just upgraded, and now it works perfectly." So look, I'm not a computer genius, but it seems a bit weird to me. Excuse me. That's one of the things. The other thing is I have literally been head down, bum up, trying to finish veggie gardens, trying to finish walls, retaining walls, etc. here on my property, chicken sheds, chicken fences, everything, anything you can think of. And the reason I'm doing that is because I am preparing. and I literally haven't had time to do any videos because, look, it takes a long time to do these things, folks. It's not like you guys might watch it for half an hour, but it takes me 2 hours plus sometimes to do these things. And that's if it works. Sometimes I sit here and do a video and it just drops out. And my whole hour is wasted. So then I've got to do it again. So it might end up being 5-6 hours for a half-hour video. So I hope you understand that. So it's a lot of time out of my time to do a video. Although it's a two-edged sword, because I know you guys don't get much news information from other sources. So I do feel bad about it. But I just don't have the time, that much time sometimes. So I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. The good side of that is that I'm starting to come out the other side, or was starting to come out the other side of the all the hectic stuff. Now, if you're from America, England, etc., you're probably aware of it if you're in England, probably not so much in America. I live in southeast Queensland, which is near the New South Wales-Queensland border. I'm literally 4K, well, it's actually 1K away from my house, the border, to New South Wales. It started raining here on Christmas Day. We were outside under the canopy, enjoying on the deck, getting ready to have a barbie. Or did we have the barbie? I can't remember now. And it started raining Christmas Day. Now, it has not stopped raining since Christmas Day. It's 5 months in now. Now, you might notice I'm actually sitting here in a t-shirt, and it's May. So it's the 15th. So it's the second week of May now. Last night we went to bed and it was 22 degrees last night during the night. And it's 23 degrees during the day. Why am I telling you that? Okay, well, I'll put it to you this way. If you're from Florida, that's this sort of exact same weather that we get here. So imagine in December in Florida, for example, and you're getting June weather in December. That's what we're having here. Try and get your head around that. So the whole weather system has gone 6 months past its due date. So Christmas time is our hottest time here, Christmas, January, February. So that leaves March, which is still a little bit hot. And obviously you start getting a tapering off effect, March, April, and May. So imagine me in the middle of May, or April, sorry, and it's the hottest it's ever been. So forget December, January, February. They weren't too bad. April was absolutely like we were living in a furnace. And I'm not shitting you. It was that hot. The last time I was that hot was up in Cairns, which is actual tropical weather, which we're not supposed to get. We're supposed to get subtropical. So it's supposed to be a moderate climate all year round. It's supposed to be the best climate in Australia. But it's been so hot, you would not believe how hot it's been, and humid. So, hence, and we're living under what's called El Nino, one of the two, weather system apparently. Now they've extended that El Nino weather system until October. Never happened before, ever. Well, to be honest with you, what's happening now has never happened before. And it's quite interesting. I was speaking to a good mate of mine, Tim, down in Ballina, a couple of weeks ago on the phone, and we were talking about the weather. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't really paid attention to the guys in the sky. That's all I'm going to say. In the planes with the stuff. That's all I'm going to say. And before this weather system now hit us, because it's still raining now, we're having summer rain in May. I didn't have a video on me at the time or a phone or anything else, and I wish I had, because I was outside the house. And I was watching this plane, jet, fly, and I mean high. It was bloody high. And it was dispersing something out the back. Now, interestingly, when it came to a cloud, so it'd go like that, and then it'd shut it off, go through the cloud, come out the other side, start it again. And I was actually watching, I wish to God I had a video of it. And then we got all this rain. That was happening for quite a while. There's been a lot of cloud seeding here lately that I started to actually notice, because how do you notice cloud seeding? Well, the clouds aren't clouds. It's just like this blanket, this fine misty blanket that goes over the sky. And now we've got all this weather. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you why. I don't know why. I don't know why any sane, rational human being would be doing what they're doing. But we've had 3 major floods now in the space of 11 weeks, 10 weeks. Major floods. And guess where the majority of those floods are? Excuse me. In the food belt areas. So west of Brisbane, up in the mountain, up in the valleys, up in the hills, ranges, that's the main food growing area for virtually the whole of Australia. It's like California. Those people have been flooded out now for months. And interestingly, I was watching a video yesterday where they were interviewing one of the food growers, and people forget this. And he's saying, you know, all the standard fruits like vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, you know, cucumbers, all those, they absolutely hate sitting in water. Now, these guys don't grow their vegetables up on raised garden beds, folks. They just do acres and acres and acres of. So these guys have now lost all their crops, all of them. He said there's going to be 70 to 80% crop losses this year. And not that by loss, that means haven't been planted because the ground's too wet, or planted and they've lost them because the ground's too wet. So think about that. Think about what that's going to do to incomes and inflation. It's not good. So I'll talk about the prepping in a minute, but let's talk about inflation. Sorry about that, bloody idiot. Let's talk about inflation. If you follow this channel, I've been predicting headline inflation to hit 10%, like, for years. And there's literally, and look, it's not just, I'm not a financial guru. I'm just an idiot who watches things and goes, well, that's why I'm doing all my prepping and everything else. Now, I've had David Morgan on this show, Bill Holter, you've watched them on USA Watchdog, etc., etc. Now, you can find this on Google, and this is really, really important. You can find this on Google. The Bank of England came out 3 weeks ago, and said their headline inflation rate from the Bank of England will be over 10% by the end of this year. By the end of this year. That's their own direct warning. Now, how many of you have even noticed that they said that? So remember, the Bank of England's interest rate at the moment is 0.1%. Imagine 10%. So you've had all these little piggies eating at the trough of 0.0% interest rates. Even a 2% interest rate is going to cripple companies and cripple people. Can you imagine 10? You're talking about things that have never ever financially happened before, and there is no way for them to fix it. That's my point. As all these guys have been telling you for months and months and months now, you cannot fix this. Well, they've been telling us for years. They've done, and before, and everyone's going to say the same thing because my family says the same thing to me. You've been saying this for years. Well, they've been doing shit that no one even thought that they could ever even do or ever even existed. Buying back bonds, which they're not allowed to do. Buying up company shares, which they're not allowed to do. Just printing money. The US government's now printing $1 trillion nearly a day to top up the system. How do you think that's going to, like, where do you think that's going? When I first started doing the show a couple of years ago, I think the US general gross debt was like 15 trillion. It's 30 plus now on the standard. Think about that again. I started this a couple of years ago. It was 15, whatever it was a lot. It's plus 30. There's just no way for me to say that. If you just listen to that and you just went, oh, okay, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Because, and I've said this before, and this is a simple explanation. If you put all the companies together in the world, and all the major companies in the world, all of the billionaires in the world, you still would not make $1 trillion. And what I mean by the companies, I mean, like, if you got their turnover, each company's turnover, and added that to each billionaire's billions, you still wouldn't get to $1 trillion. 1 trillion. Imagine 30. $30 trillion is on the US debt, national debt now. There is just no simple way for me to say to you, well, this is going to end well. It's just not. You're an idiot. If you're sitting there across the screen from me and you're saying, oh, he's a whack job, he doesn't know what he's talking about, go on the US national debt clock. See for yourself. It'll probably say something like 28 trillion. Oh, it's not 30. Yeah, it is. It's way past 30. They're not going to tell you what the actual figure is, you idiots. It's way past 30. 30 trillion. Remember the days when we used to go, $1 billion was a lot? Well, now it's 30 trillion. And we say it so easy. The reason why we don't even talk about it much is because we now can say it so easily. Because no one goes, oh, hang on a minute, how much is $1 trillion? Because a lot of people don't know how much is $1 trillion. Because that's the reality. Because people kind of knew what $1 billion was. So, look, it's going to end badly. I've been saying that for ages now, and there's never been a way out of it. Yeah, they've lied, schemed, scammed, stolen, any other word that you want to use to describe a bunch of low-life scumbags ripping you off for basically your existence. Well, that's what they've done. Your kids, and this is something else, like I'm nearly 60 and I've had a pretty good life, but our kids are not going to have the same existence that we had. And you need to understand that. This is not about, if you're my age or a bit younger, in your 40s, 50s, you've already experienced some form of good life. Moving forward, your kids are not going to experience that good life. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it's going to get. Like, I already know people now that have lost homes, can't rent, are living in cars, and I'm being deadly serious. One of my son's best mates is actually doing that. He's couch surfing because his family got kicked out of their rental, nowhere to live. You know, I'm sure you guys have examples yourselves. Okay, I won't bleed on too long about it. You need to be asking yourself now, where are you at as regards to prepping? And prepping means a lot of different things for a lot of different people, or for everyone. You know, if I asked Tim, for example, a mate from Ballina, his prepping is somewhat similar to mine, but there's always a definition description between people that's different. And this is important. This is actually important. And can I just say, prepping for a man and prepping for a woman is absolutely different. And if you're a man and you don't pay attention to what your wife's saying to you about prepping, you're an idiot. Because our general conception of prepping is guns and knives and, backpacks and Hey, take 5 seconds, talk to the boss. She'll tell you what you're doing wrong, and listen to her, because my wife has given me an enormous amount of information that I just, because, the male thing, and I'm being dead serious. My wife now realizes that there is something bad coming, and we're madly trying to get things ready, and making sure the cars are done, all the tyres are changed. We changed all the tyres on the cars, all that sort of stuff. So look, I just want to show you something. Look, this is what I'm doing at the moment. So this is ANACONDA, and what I'm looking for is camo pants, long camo pants. This is Survival Archery Systems. Who make really, really good bows and arrows, etc. So I'm, full on looking into that. Aussie Disposals, camo pants. You get the picture. That's what I'm doing. I'm making sure that each of us has at least one pair of those, and waterproof boots, etc. for the future. Now I've already gone through all my bows and my karate bows, and bows and arrows, compound bow. I haven't got compound bows. I've just got reflex bows, because that's my personal preference. Some people like compound bows. I find them a little bit too cumbersome, and if anything breaks on, you haven't got a compound bow anymore. Recurve bows tend not to break as much as compound bows. So, like with a recurve bow, basically all you need is a string. That's it. Compound bow, if a compound bow breaks, you're kind of in no man's land, unless you know how to quickly run up a complete lateral system for your compound bow, which I don't. Look, what's the point of this video today? The point is that I'm trying to get across that there is no more time. And if you're watching Ukraine, and more importantly, if you're watching the US poke the Russian bear, then you're also in the same situation. Is it bad in Ukraine? Of course it is. Civilians are getting wiped out, and that's shit. That is really shit. People are dying. While I'm sitting here doing this, people are dying. But it's okay. It's because it's over there. Keep watching. It amazes me, like, people keep watching all these reality shows, Big Brother, and while this is all going on over there, this is how bad we've gotten in our society. They bring out Big Brother, yay! Oh, like, women and children are being blown to bits in Ukraine, but it's okay. Sit in your lounge room and watch Big Brother and Maths and all these shit shows, while China's moving in on the Solomon Islands, when there should be massive exposés, and really what should have happened was, as soon as the Solomon Islands announced that, Australia and the US should have flown planes over there, dropped paratroopers out, and taken over this country. That's where that is heading, by the way, just in case you don't know. And once again, you can find this on Google. I'm not going to. You do the groundwork. The US government. I don't know if you people, if I say Solomon Islands to you Americans, you go, yeah, kind of don't even know where it is. You'll have to look on a map. It's next to Papua New Guinea. So it's 2,000 k's up off the coast of Australia, east, south, northeast. 2,000 k's. It's even closer than that at some points of Australia. If I said to you people in the US, Guadalcanal, everyone in America knows what Guadalcanal is to the Americans. So when this all started a couple of weeks ago, or about a month ago, when this all came out that the Solomon Islands had signed a peace treaty with China and a security pact with China, because they're run by Maoists now. If you haven't noticed, they're communist in Solomon Islands. The government is, not the people. Well, the first thing that happened was the Australian government went, this is wrong, can't let this happen. Didn't do anything about it. The second thing that happened was the Americans sent a delegation, a big delegation, by the way, not a little delegation, to the Solomon Islands, and a couple of those people that were in that delegation were high-level Marines. You can actually find the pictures, they're on YouTube. Find US delegation to Solomon Islands and look at the pictures. At that meeting, the US told the Solomon Islands, you are not going to do this. Physically told them. And when the Solomon Islands went, they went, no, you don't understand. You are not going to do this. And the reason is because it's sacred ground to the Americans, and especially to the Marine Corps, because they lost thousands, literally thousands of troops there. So could you imagine the Solomon Islands giving it over to the Chinese? So if you don't think that war is coming to our region, then you are wildly deluded. Do you remember? And secondly, do you remember I've told you there's a little place out in the middle of the desert in Australia called Pine Gap and Lone Pine. Two places, sorry. Pine Gap and Lone Pine. Look them up on Google. It's an American state within Australia. And the reason it's an American state is because that's where the main satellite system for the world is. Because America and Russia live side by side, but the Americans can't watch the Russians, and the Russians can't watch the Americans, because radio waves travel that way around the world. So the Americans put a base in Australia, which has been there since 1950s. You know, and all this nonsense. We have the most they can look at. They have an over-the-horizon satellite system that can pick up a fly landing on a piece of paper in the back end of Thailand. That's how strong it is. You know, and this nonsense about MH317 where it disappeared. They know what happened to it. They know every single square inch of that land, because the over-horizon system can see everything. And because no one's ever said, well, why don't we go to the thingo and shut up. So they know what happened to it. It's not a mystery to them anyway. It's a mystery to us because we're all sitting there going, oh, how come no one's ever asked them about why don't we find out from the over-the-horizon system where the plane went? Because they can actually see in the South China Sea, they can see the planes coming and landing at those marine atolls. That's how strong that system is. Chinese know it. Everyone knows it. Look, that's why they built bases, Australian Air Force bases up that way, because by the time these planes get anywhere near Australia, they will literally wipe them out. So the day that they put a missile system, which they have done, which is capable, like if they went to put a hypersonic missile system on those islands in the South China Sea, they just wipe them out. Because that's how crucial Lone Pine and Pine Gap are to the Americans. So what do you think is going to happen with something that's 2,000 k's off the Australian coast? Solomon Islands, Guadalcanal. Don't say Solomon Islands, say Guadalcanal. You Americans need to understand what's going on up there, because you're actually being railroaded because no one's actually telling you what's going on. They're actually putting more and more troops here now, the Americans. We are living in really, really dangerous times. I'll give you an example how dopey people are. I went to a barbecue a couple of weeks ago and we're sitting there, and the general consensus is that China is good for Australia. Probably is. We've lost all our manufacturing, etc. We've given it all to China, but we're able to buy cheap Chinese shit that no one wants, that doesn't work and breaks down, all the time. If you're happy with that, then I guess China is good for us. But when somebody said, this China rhetoric is bad, blah, 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 etc., etc., and I said, at the end of the conversation, I said, well, so how much iron ore have we sold to China? And what did we do with the money? Think about that. Billions, mega billions. Where's that money? No one ever asked this question, by the way. Where is that money? Where is that mega billions of dollars that we sold the iron ore to China? And everyone sits there and goes, oh, well, we did. I said, no, we didn't. We haven't built one new dam, one new bridge, nothing. So where is that money? Where's the money gone? Not only that, understand this. All that iron ore we sent to China, they built 100 destroyers and, submarines and, missiles, whatever they wanted to build with their war machine. They used our iron ore to build all of those. And there's a hushed silence. Because people, when you literally face people with reality, their reality is, wow. They don't understand, they can't comprehend what their own reality is unless it's a reality that fits in with their consciousness. That's how warped this all is. We are not far away from a conflict. We've got a Chinese ship sitting off the west coast of Australia right now, monitoring. It's a intelligence vessel, the big satellite things on it, etc. It's sitting off there right now, off the Western Australian coast, monitoring the communications from the Exmouth Harold Holt base with the Americans. That's what it's doing. And they've been doing it for months. They're just now making a thing about it because this is the third time now that I've told you guys about it. They've been doing it for months. They go up north, go around Australia, down past Cairns and Townsville, and then they go back up again. They do it. They just keep doing the loop. Been doing it for months, probably years. But because we've got an election on, it's a big issue now. So, my point of this video, we are now months away from something cracking. I don't know what it is. War, financial, is it going to be when fuel and diesel and that gets to $3 a litre, people are going to start going, wow, hang on, something's really wrong. No, that's not going to be it. Because it'd have to get to $5 a litre before people started saying, maybe there's a problem here. Because they won't shift their reality. And these people that are doing all this know that. It's okay. We've got your back. So look, if you're earnest about doing all this shit, and what I mean by that is prepping, then you need to sit down. And before I say that, and I'm saying this because of something that was said to me the other day by my old man who's 85 years old and is on his last legs. He said to me just a couple of nights ago, he said, I am really, really worried about what's happening now with this Solomon Islands thing and etc. He said, I worry about what's going to happen to you and the kids in the future. Now, this is a veteran, by the way. So he knows that something bad's coming. He said, unfortunately, my time will be up. He said, but it looks like it's going to be down to your generation to sort this shit out. And I think that's probably the best place to leave this. It's now down to our generation to sort this shit out. And our kids' generation, unfortunately. And if you think this is going to be over in a couple of weeks, it's not. This is a 10-year thing, guys. And you need to understand it. If troops come and invade Australia, regardless of where they invade, but you're talking about a long-term invasion. Because one, we don't have the troops to get them out. We don't. Don't kid yourself. We don't even have any guns to get them out. So in actual fact, to fight these guys, you're going to have to fight them, kill them, get their guns and their ammo and shoot them with their ammo and guns. And anything else, because we have nothing. And we're not going to get help from the Americans. We might get a little bit. But at the same time as this is going on, the Americans are going to have their own problems. Or the world's going to have their own problems. So we're just going to be shunted. So whatever happens, this is going to be a long term problem. And it's going to be a long-term invasion if we get invaded. It's not going to be over in a couple of weeks. And don't kid yourself. And if you're stupid enough to listen to the government, you better go there and send all the young men there and then you're just going to be cannon fodder that's going to get blown away by the Chinese superiority over the first couple of years, first couple of months, and they're just going to wipe people out everywhere. So the point of the message is prepare now like you've never prepared before, to be honest. Store your food, store your oil, store anything you can buy that you think is going to get you through this. You know, if you've got a stupid stuff like septic system. When was the last time you had the septic system, like the whole septic system from the front end to the back end, cleaned out? Because you don't want to be in the middle of this and have it blocked. All this sort of crap. That's what I'm doing. Air conditioners. Will they work? I don't know, but I'm going to make sure it does. Have I got the parts for it? Yep. Cars. I've bought all the parts for the cars. So that if I have to go anywhere, I've got to do an oil change. I've got at least one oil change. All this sort of stuff. Bought all new batteries for the cars. And yeah, I know it costs money, but I'm prepared to stick my neck out at the moment and spend a bit to save a bit. Spend a bit, save a bit. Prepare. All right, let's do the prayers. Okay, folks. Psalm of the day, or verse of the day. For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvellous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. And as always, folks, we'll end with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory for ever and ever. Amen. All right, folks, I'll leave it there. I'll try and do another video soon, now that my computer's working, back up and running. Be interested in your comments. And really get a community together, folks, because that's where this is going. All right. God bless you all. Prep out.